The evening sun cast long shadows across Pine Street as 17-year-old Maya Chen walked home from the public library. Her backpack, heavy with law books and case studies, bounced gently against her shoulder with each step. Maya had spent the entire afternoon researching constitutional law, preparing for her mock trial competition next week. She paused at the crosswalk, checking her phone. 7:35 p.m. Her mom would be wondering where she was soon. Maya quickened her pace, her sneakers making soft sounds against the pavement. Blue and red lights suddenly flashed behind her. Maya turned, confused. A police cruiser had pulled up to the curb, its engine rumbling low. The driver's door opened, and Officer Blake Rodriguez stepped out. His uniform was crisp, his badge gleaming under the streetlight, but his eyes held something cold. "Excuse me, miss," Rodriguez called out, his voice carrying false authority. "I need to speak with you." Maya stopped walking and turned to face him completely. "Yes, sir. Is there a problem?" Rodriguez approached slowly, his hand resting on his belt. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in this area. Drug deals, that sort of thing. I'm going to need to search your bag." Maya's heart began to race, but her voice remained steady. "Officer, may I ask what specific suspicious activity you observed me doing?" Rodriguez's jaw tightened. This kid was asking questions. He didn't like that. "Don't get smart with me. Just put your bag down and step back." Maya carefully placed her backpack on the ground, her mind racing through everything she had studied about police encounters. She kept her hands visible, her movements slow and deliberate. "Officer, I'm exercising my right to know the reason for this search." "The reason is I said so," Rodriguez snapped, kneeling beside her bag. He unzipped it roughly, pulling out her textbooks and notebooks. Constitutional law, criminal procedure, civil rights cases. His expression darkened further. As Rodriguez continued searching, Maya noticed something strange. His left hand moved to his pocket briefly, then back to her bag. In that split second, she saw him slip something small into the side compartment. A tiny plastic bag, barely visible in the dim light. Maya's training kicked in. She had read about this exact scenario in her legal studies. Evidence planting. Her phone was in her jacket pocket, and she carefully activated the voice recording app without looking down. Well, Rodriguez said loudly, his voice dripping with fake surprise. "What do we have here?" He pulled out the small bag, holding it up like a trophy. "Looks like marijuana to me." Maya remained perfectly calm, though her pulse hammered in her ears. "Officer Rodriguez," she said, reading his name tag clearly, "that is not mine. I saw you place it there." Rodriguez stood up, towering over her. "That's a serious accusation, young lady. Are you calling me a liar?" "I'm stating what I observed," Maya replied evenly. "Your badge number is 4729. The time is now 7:43 p.m. You reached into your left pocket and placed that item in my bag approximately 30 seconds ago." Rodriguez felt a chill run down his spine. This teenager was speaking like a lawyer, documenting everything. But he had come too far to back down now. He grabbed Maya's arm roughly. "You're under arrest for possession of controlled substances," he declared, reaching for his handcuffs. "You have the right to remain silent." Maya didn't resist as he cuffed her, but she continued speaking clearly toward her phone. "I am being arrested by Officer Blake Rodriguez, badge number 4729, at 7:44 p.m. on Pine Street." The alleged evidence was planted by the arresting officer. Rodriguez shoved her toward his patrol car, confidence returning. Just another punk kid making wild accusations. Who would believe her word against his? He had no idea what he had just walked into. The fluorescent lights in the booking room buzzed overhead as Rodriguez pushed Maya through the heavy metal doors of the precinct. The desk sergeant, a tired-looking man named Officer Mills, barely looked up from his paperwork. "What we got, Rodriguez?" Mills asked, his pen still moving across a report. Drug possession. Caught her red-handed on Pine Street, Rodriguez replied, his voice full of satisfaction. He felt back in control now, away from the street where Maya's calm questions had unsettled him. Maya stood quietly in her handcuffs, taking in every detail of the room. The booking camera in the corner, the time stamp on the wall clock showing 8:07 p.m., the case number Mills was writing down. Everything could be evidence later. I'm requesting my phone call, Maya said clearly, her voice carrying across the room. Mills looked up at her for the first time. You'll get your call, kid. After processing. Officer Mills, Maya continued, reading his name tag, under Miranda v. Arizona and subsequent rulings, I have the right to contact an attorney immediately upon request. I am making that request now. Mills' pen stopped moving. Rodriguez shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't how 17-year-olds usually talked in booking. Fine, Mills said, pointing to an old rotary phone on a nearby desk. Make it quick. Rodriguez uncuffed one of Maya's hands, keeping the other secured. Maya walked to the phone with practiced composure and dialed a number she knew by heart. Hello, Judge Williams? This is Maya Chen. I need your help. The voice on the other end was warm but immediately concerned. Maya? What's wrong, dear? I've been arrested on false charges by Officer Blake Rodriguez, badge 4729. He planted evidence during an illegal search. I documented everything. Rodriguez felt his stomach drop. Judge Williams? This kid knew a judge. Patricia Williams had been Maya's mentor for 3 years, ever since Maya had won the city's high school law competition. The retired judge had taken the brilliant teenager under her wing, teaching her advanced legal concepts that most law students didn't learn until their second year. I'm recording this conversation legally, Maya continued, her voice professional and clear. Officer Rodriguez conducted a search without probable cause, planted evidence, and violated multiple constitutional provisions during my arrest. Rodriguez stepped closer, trying to grab the phone. Hey, that's enough. Maya turned to face him directly, the phone still at her ear. Officer Rodriguez just attempted to interfere with my legal communication. Judge Williams, are you hearing this? Every word, Maya, came the reply, loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. Don't say another word until I arrive. Maya hung up and faced Rodriguez with steady eyes. Officer Rodriguez, you violated the Fourth Amendment by conducting a search without reasonable suspicion. You violated the 14th Amendment through selective enforcement based on racial profiling. You committed evidence tampering under Section 37.09 of the Penal Code. Rodriguez's face had gone pale. You don't know what you're talking about, kid. I know exactly what I'm talking about, Maya replied calmly. I've been studying constitutional law for 4 years. I know that your failure to articulate specific suspicious activity before the search invalidates everything that followed. I know that planting evidence is a felony. And I know that my phone recorded your admission of searching me because, quote, I said so, unquote. Officer Mills was now staring at both of them, his paperwork forgotten. Rodriguez, what's she talking about? Rodriguez's confidence was crumbling fast. She's lying. She's just some street kid trying to. I'm a straight A student with a 4.0 GPA, Maya interrupted. I've won 3 state law competitions and I'm mentored by Judge Patricia Williams, who served on the appellate court for 15 years. My phone contains a complete audio recording of our encounter, including your statement that you were searching me simply because you felt like it. The room fell silent except for the buzzing fluorescent lights. Rodriguez realized with growing horror that he hadn't just arrested some random teenager. He had walked into a trap set by someone who knew the law better than half the cops in the building, and she had recorded everything. 20 minutes later, the precinct doors swung open with authority. Judge Patricia Williams entered, her silver hair perfectly styled, her navy suit commanding immediate respect. Behind her walked Sergeant David Johnson, a 20-year veteran known for his integrity and fairness. "Where is Maya Chen?" Judge Williams demanded, her voice cutting through the busy station noise. Officer Mills pointed toward the holding area where Maya sat calmly, still handcuffed to a bench. Rodriguez stood nearby, looking increasingly nervous as more senior officers gathered around. "Maya, are you hurt?" Judge Williams asked, kneeling beside her young protégé. "No, ma'am. But I have substantial evidence of police misconduct," Maya replied clearly. She held up her phone. "Everything is recorded." Sergeant Johnson approached Rodriguez with a stern expression. "Blake, what exactly happened out there?" Rodriguez straightened, trying to regain his composure. "I arrested her for drug possession. Found marijuana in her bag during a routine search." Maya looked directly at Sergeant Johnson. "Sergeant, may I present my evidence?" Judge Williams nodded approvingly. "Go ahead, Maya." Maya activated her phone's playback function. Her clear voice filled the room. "Officer, may I ask what specific suspicious activity you observed me doing?" Then Rodriguez's voice, aggressive and dismissive, "Don't get smart with me. Just put your bag down and step back." The recording continued, capturing Rodriguez's admission. "The reason is I said so." Sergeant Johnson's expression darkened as he listened. "Blake, you conducted a search without articulating reasonable suspicion?" She looked suspicious," Rodriguez stammered. Maya continued playing the recording. Her voice came through clearly. "Officer Rodriguez, that is not mine. I saw you place it there." Then Rodriguez's angry response, "That's a serious accusation, young lady. Are you calling me a liar?" And Maya's calm, precise documentation, "Your badge number is 4729. The time is now 7:43 p.m. You reached into your left pocket and placed that item in my bag approximately 30 seconds ago." The room fell completely silent. Sergeant Johnson's face had turned stone-cold serious. "There's more," Maya said quietly. She pulled out a small notebook from her jacket. "I've been documenting patterns of police behavior in my neighborhood for my senior thesis on racial profiling. Officer Rodriguez has stopped 7 minority students from Lincoln High School in the past month. All were searched. All were released without charges except for 2 cases where evidence appeared that the students insisted wasn't theirs." Rodriguez's face went white. That's impossible. You can't have." "I interviewed the students, Sergeant Johnson," Maya continued professionally. "I have signed statements. I also have photographs of Officer Rodriguez's patrol patterns, which show he specifically targets areas with higher minority populations during school dismissal hours." Judge Williams smiled proudly at her student. "Maya has been preparing a legal brief on this exact issue for months. She's been building a case." Sergeant Johnson turned to Rodriguez, his voice deadly serious. "Blake, empty your pockets. Now." "Sir, I don't see why." "Empty them." Rodriguez reluctantly pulled items from his uniform pockets. Keys, wallet, pen, and 3 small plastic bags identical to the one he had found in Maya's backpack. Maya pointed at the bags calmly. "Sergeant Johnson, those bags all have the same manufacturer's markings and identical heat seal patterns. That's not consistent with street-level drug purchases, which typically come in varied packaging." Sergeant Johnson picked up one of the bags, examining it closely. "These look like they came from the same source, Blake." "I can explain," Rodriguez started. "The explanation is simple," Maya interrupted, her voice steady and professional. "Officer Rodriguez has been systematically planting evidence on minority youth to inflate his arrest statistics. This constitutes conspiracy to violate civil rights under federal law, evidence tampering under state law, and abuse of power under departmental regulations." Rodriguez realized his career was over. This 17-year-old had just destroyed him with nothing but legal knowledge and careful documentation. Sergeant Johnson reached for his handcuffs. "Blake Rodriguez, you're under arrest." The metallic click of handcuffs echoed through the station as Sergeant Johnson secured them around Rodriguez's wrists. The corrupt officer's face had gone from confident to defeated in the span of an hour. "Blake Rodriguez, you are under arrest for evidence tampering, conspiracy to violate civil rights, and abuse of power," Sergeant Johnson announced officially. "You have the right to remain silent." Officer Mills quickly moved to unlock Maya's handcuffs. "Miss Chen, on behalf of this department, I sincerely apologize for what you've endured tonight." Judge Williams placed a protective hand on Maya's shoulder. "All charges against Maya Chen are hereby dismissed due to illegal search and planted evidence," she declared with authority that made everyone in the room stand straighter. Maya rubbed her wrists where the cuffs had been, but her expression remained calm and dignified. "Thank you, Sergeant Johnson. Your integrity tonight prevented a serious miscarriage of justice." Sergeant Johnson shook his head in disgust as Rodriguez was led away. "Miss Chen, your documentation and legal knowledge likely saved other innocent people from similar treatment. This investigation will now expand to review all of Rodriguez's recent arrests." 6 months later, Maya Chen stood at the podium of Lincoln High School's graduation ceremony. As valedictorian, she addressed her fellow students with the same calm confidence she had shown that night at the police station. "Justice is not automatic," she told the crowd. "It requires ordinary people to know their rights, document injustice, and stand firm against those who abuse power. Tonight proved that knowledge truly is power, and when we use that power responsibly, we can change the world." The audience erupted in applause as Maya accepted her diploma, already enrolled in Harvard Law School's accelerated program. Judge Williams wiped away proud tears from the front row. Rodriguez received 5 years in federal prison. 7 other cases involving planted evidence were overturned, and the police department implemented new body camera requirements and bias training. Maya's fight for justice had just begun, but she had already proven that courage, preparation, and knowledge could overcome even the most corrupt abuse of power. Hope lived in young voices willing to speak truth, no matter how intimidating the opposition. Justice had prevailed because one brilliant teenager refused to be silenced.